Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. I thought I'd show you something a little bit new that I've just learnt how to do today. This is yarn. I'm working on a little yarn project for Izzy, and I'm using this wool that is multicoloured. It's rather beautiful, and she picked it all out. What I'm working on is a project called Corner to Corner. I'd never heard of it before, and what it is you start in a little corner down here and you work up this way, working from a corner by building your creation by making these little squares. You see here I've got the little gaps between, but this is a little square here, and then you add another square here and another square here and another square here, and it's built up from these little squares. Now this is the end of my work here. As you can see, I have a little square on the end, and then here's a little square, and each of these little squares has a chain and then 3 double crochets in each of them. So a chain and 3 double crochets, then you move to the next square. It's really easy to do, and these creations, I mean, as you can see, it's quite huge. They grow really quickly, and the other beautiful thing is it's very easy to change colour. So what I thought I would do today is firstly explain how to do it in yarn and show you how you can do it in loom bands. And you can make murals. You can use your graphs that you have for mural making and bracelet making, and you can make a mural out of it. I mean, I just did a creeper, but I've seen, if you have a look on Google, if you Google for C, the letter C, the number 2 and the letter C, which is corner to corner, and it will show you. I saw the most phenomenal one that somebody had made in the face of Elvis, and each little square that you make represents a pixel. So, I mean, it's going to be big, and as you can see with this one, you can see all the different, this is a little square here, you see, you stretch it out, here's my little square here, and this is how I made it. And then I did a rainbow one, so you can easily see the squares here. Here's a little red square and a little orange square, a little yellow square. I thought they were quite fun. Now, I'm not really sure how well they would do as a drink stand because they're a bit wobbly. The fun part of these is that they are quite well, bumpy, but it's supposed to be like that. I think they look really quite nice. I suppose you could use them as a placemat for a plate. This one is double banded, this one is double banded, which gives it quite a nice firm feel to it, and this one is single banded, and it's not as firm, it's a little bit less rigid. It's going to use half the bands. It does use half the bands, so that's nice, but I don't know if it really looks as nice. It would definitely be up to you to decide what you like, but they come out as little squares, and I thought that was really sweet. So I'm going to show you how to do that today, corner to corner, using loom bands. So the first thing you're going to need to do is have some sort of pattern. If you're not doing a pattern with a shape in it, it doesn't really matter. You can just do whatever colours you like I did with the rainbow. But if you are actually going to make a pattern, then you probably need to print something out. Now, remember, we're working from corner to corner. We're not doing rows like this. We're not doing rows. We're working from this little corner here, and then we start with 1 square, then we do 2 square, then we do 3 square, and we work our way like that. So what we need to do, let's work out how we're going to do this. And for me, I'm going to start, I'm not actually going to do this first. I want mine to be a square, so I'm not going to do this first column in black. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm not going to do this end one. I'm going to make my pattern exactly how I want it. So I'm going to do it like this, just so that I can have my little pattern here. And I obviously now need to start with a black here in the corner. I have a pencil ready so that I can scour through, and it's going to be a little tricky to see, but scour through. Now I'm going to do mine in black in white and red. I am going to have a stitch marker handy just in case I want to stop at any given time so I don't lose my stitches. And I'm going to do mine in single bands, only because they use so many bands. Now, if you want yours to be a little firmer, I would definitely recommend doing double bands. Single bands, it's going to look a little bit different, but you can, it's the same principle. It's just going to be quicker for me to show you, except you can use the double bands, and I'll do one both. Okay, so what we're going to do, we need to make our first little square. This one down here, this is going to be our first little square here. So taking, and I'm sorry, here I am growing red. I'm going to do the border, the black border here I'm going to do in white. And please excuse me, I've got very sore fingers. I've broken nails left, right and centre, and it's gone all the way down to the quick, and it doesn't look very nice at all. So taking a single band, wrapping it round once and twice, that is going to be my end cap, and I'm going to chain 6, and we're always going to work in little clumps of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Each of our little squares that we make is going to be 6 and 6. Okay, so here we have a chain of 6. We're going to count back 4 from the one that's on our hook. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, push your hook through that one, okay, through that loop there, and we're going to do our version of a double crochet. So pull through a single band and leave it on your hook, pull through another single band through that one there, but you're going to add this little loop to it like that and add to your hook. Now you're going to add one more, and that is a double crochet. Go through your next loop, okay, and again pull through one band. Whoopsie, let's do that again. Pull through one band, get your second band, pull it through, add the first little loop, okay, and join all 3 loops together. And now go through your first band, your first chain, which has your end cap on. Don't worry about that. Your first band goes through, your second band goes through and captures the first loop of that one that's on your hook. Reclaim and add another one to join it all together. This is our first little square. I know it doesn't look like a square, but this is our first little square. So I'm going to just put a little cross through that. Okay, now the trick for this is you then have to turn your work. You have to turn it this way. Well, we turn it by pinching, pushing our hook through the other way and turning it. Okay, now what we're going to do, because we're still on the edge, this comes down here, we're still working on an edge, we're going to chain 6 just like we did at the start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I know that I'm doing white because this square here is white and this is the one that we're working on. Okay, so now again I'm going to count 4 bands back from my hook, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and go in through that space, and I'm going to pull a single band through, and this is how we do our 3 double crochets in our chain of 6 to build up our square. Here's our second band, which we add that little loop from the one that's on our hook. This is our first double crochet. Then we go into the next stitch and do our second double crochet. and then into the first stitch and do our third double crochet. 1, 2, add the little loop. You've got 3 loops on, and that is the second block that we've had. Don't worry that it looks like it's going the other way, because what we're going to do now is join these together, and by doing that what we're going to do is, now this is tricky, okay, I'm going to put this here so you can see. If you look at your first block, there's the little chain that we started with, okay. If you poke your finger, you can see that there's sort of this natural gap here, okay, just between here and here. There's that gap, okay. That's the gap that we're going to put our hook through. So you're not going through a chain. You're not going through a chain here. You're not going through a chain here. You're going through the gap between the chain and the work. So pull it. Do you see how it is here? You've got your chain and there's your work. There's the gap there. That's where you're putting your hook. We're still working in white, okay? We're going to take a single band, pull it through that little gap on the first one, and we're going to join the loop, loop we have on our hook for our second one by doing a slip stitch. We're just going through it. We're not actually going to knot that. We're just going to leave it like this. Okay, and now what we're going to do is chain 1, 2, and 3. Now going back into that loop there, that little gap that was in our first one where we started, we're putting our hook back in here, and this is where we're going to do our double crochets. So pull it through. You're not going through a stitch, you're going through the entire chain like this. So there's your first band. With your second band, pull it through, add that loop and join, and then take your third band and join them all together. So that was your first double crochet. Go back into that space and we'll do our second double crochet. Here's our first band, our second band. You're adding 3 little loops and then you're joining the last 3 little loops. And let's do our third double crochet, again back in that space. Our first band, our second band where we add 3 loops, we claim, and then we join these 3 loops together like so. Now this has formed the little V, if you would have it, that's what you want to call it, which is the beginning here of these 3. So if you have a look here, that's these 3 squares here is formed like this. So again, we've got to the end, we need to pinch, turn our hook into the other way. Okay, so now what we need to do, we're working from here, this is our base, we're now going to do, again, we've got a black square, a black square, a black square. These are the 3 squares that we're working on. Next, this one here, and this one here. So we know that we're going to use white for each of our little squares. So we're on an outside edge, we have to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now don't fret if you don't get it immediately. It does take a while to know when to do 6 and when to do 3, but trust me, it happens, it suddenly clicks. So count back 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Push your hook in. We're working on the inside now, so now we're doing our 3s. So we're taking our first band, our second band is going to collect 3 little loops, and then our third band is going to collect those other 3 loops. That's our first double crochet. Go into your next stitch. We're doing our second double crochet. 1, 2, collecting 3 loops, and 3. Into your second stitch, we're doing the same here, 3 double crochets. 1, first band, second band, collecting 3 loops, third band. Now if you wanted to make this thicker, you would be doing this double banded. I think it's quite a good way to learn with a single band. It's not so harsh on your fingers. And then your first stitch, go in, 1, 2, 3. Now we need to add this to up here. Okay, that's how it joins in. So what we're going to do is find that little space. Do you see? Here's our little chain. Pull it out. There's that space between it. So put your hook in that space. Okay, grab your first band, and we're doing a slip stitch, but you're not knotting it. You're just leaving it open like that. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now we've just done this stitch here. Now we're on this middle one. Okay, so again, find the little gap. You're going to go back in through that gap and do the first of your 3 double crochets. So your first band, second band collects 3 loops, third band collects 3 loops. Go back in to do your second double crochet. Your first band, your second band, your third band, and do your third single crochet, double crochet. Your first band, your second band, and your third band. So there's our little square for here. Okay, but now we have to join it to this one. So if you have a look, we've got 3 little squares up here, and we've got 1 little square here, we've got 1 little square in the middle. Okay, but now we need to extend it out this way. Okay, so we have to join it to here. So let's part this, stretch it out. There's that little gap. We want to put our hook in there. We're going to do a slip stitch that's not knotted. So join all those together like that. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Go back into that gap. Okay, where's that gap? Here it is. Back into the gap. Your first double crochet. Your second double crochet. And your last double crochet. So now, if you have a look, you've done this corner here. Okay, you've got the first square, then you've got 2 squares here, and now you've got 3 squares. All right, so now we're getting into the fun stuff. We're going to do 4 squares next. These 4, they're still going to be all white, but then we move into our red. Okay, so we're going to pinch and turn. Okay, so now we're turning, and we're going to do 4 squares. Still all in white. So we're on the outside edge. If you have a look, we're on the outside edge. We have to do 6, a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now these can be as big as you want. I mean, they can be massive. You can make a blanket, as I showed you. 1, 2, 3, 4 away from your hook. Push your hook through. Now we're doing a double crochet, the first of 3. Our first band, our second band, our third band. Go into the next stitch. This is the second stitch. Our first band, our second, and our third. And now we're in our first stitch here. It's difficult with slippery band-aids on me. 1, 2, and 3. So there's our little square that we've made. Now we need to join it up onto this one so that it forms our next line, if you can see. So we need to join this on. So pull this away. Where's the little gap? No, you don't want to go in there. That's not a gap. That's a stitch. This is the gap. Okay, so go and push your hook through the gap. We're still working in white. So here's our first, and we're doing a slip stitch to pull it through those, but we're not knotting it. We're going to go straight into a chain of 3. So that was the slip stitch. Then we go chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, back into that gap for the first of our double crochets. 1, back through that gap. This is our second double crochet. And third. Okay, so that's our next little square that we've made. We need to join it to the one in front of it, which is this one here. Pull, there's the little gap right in here. Push your hook through. The slip stitch without the knot. There you go. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to go in through that gap again that we have here and do the first of our double crochets. 1, back in through that gap for our second, and here's our third, and there's our square. Now we need to join it to this one that we have at the top. So again, find that gap. There's the gap. Pull the chain up, push your hook in, and we're going to do our slip stitch that doesn't knot. Chain 3. 1. Get off my finger. 2, 3. Find that gap again. Push your hook through. We're doing 3 double crochets. Here's our first one. Oops. Here's our second one. And let's go back through for our third. So let's have a look. Here's our corner. Okay. And here's our little squares that have made this up. And as you can see, it looks messier than when you do it double banded. It does, it just does. It's not as firm. I still think it looks pretty. Now what we're going to do, we're on this row here. Okay, so we've got one white to do here, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4 in red. So we'll do our first one in white. We're going to pinch and turn, and actually if we're turning we will start with red. So we're going to do 4 squares of red, and our last one is going to be white. So changing to red, you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You change 6 because this is an outer edge. Okay, you're going to go back 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Push your hook through. We're doing a double crochet. There's our 1, go into the next stitch. We'll do our second double crochet. And into the first stitch, we'll do our third double crochet. Okay, so there's our little square. We have to join it to this one here. Okay, it has to be joined. So find your little gap here, push your hook through, do your slip stitch that doesn't have a knot in it. We're not knotting it, so pull it through the white, add your red bands, and now we're working on the inside, so we're doing our 3s. So chain 3, 1, 2, sorry with my thumbs, 3. There's the gap. We're going back in through that gap to do our first double crochet. 1, back through the gap for 2, back through the gap for 3. Okay, so there's our second little square that we have made. We have 2 more we need to do. So again, we've got to join this to this one in front of us. Find your little space, pop your hook through. Slip stitch without the knot, so pull it through, add those in. There we go, that's nice and secure. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Back to your little space here. We're doing the first of our double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here's our third square. Let's do our fourth square. Again, we have to add it, join it up to here, slip stitch with no knot, chain 3. 1, 2, 3, back through that space. We do our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Now this one has to be white, so find your little space. Where's my space? There it is. Put my hook through, and I'm going back to white. So pull through, add my red bands and join. We're not knotting it, we're going to chain 3. 1, come back here, 2, 3, and then we find our space again and we do our 3 double crochets. This is my first one. 1, 2, 3. So here we go. If we have a look, we've done this square here, this square here, this square here, this square here, this square here. I don't know if you can see very well. Let me use a black Sharpie. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, we've done all these. So now, when we pinch and turn, so let's pinch and turn, or let's just turn. If you look, we're starting, we're here, we've finished here. All right, we finished on this space here. So we have to turn, we're starting here. We've got to do 2 white, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 red to finish. So we're doing 2 white, and then 4 red. So we need to pinch and turn. So pinch and turn, and we've got to do 2 white squares because we finished on this side. Okay, we finish right here, so we start here. So 2 white. So we've got to chain 6 because we're on an outer edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Move down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push your hook through. We're doing double crochets. This is the first of 3. Our first band. Go into the next stitch for your second. And the next stitch for your third. So there's our little square. We've got to join it to this one here. So pull out, there's your little gap, push your hook through. Now have you remembered, we've done this, we've done this one here. This one here has to be, see, we're on this one here, this has to be white as well. So single band, pull through into your slip stitch without the knot, and then because we're working now on the inside, we've just done the outside, so we're now working on the inside, we have to chain 3. Remember, it's only 6 on the outside, so 1, 2, 3, then back into that loop, that space, and we do our first of 3 double crochets. 1, and then back in for our second. And for our third. So that's that little square. Now we have to join it to this one, and if you remember, we've done our 2. Okay, we've done 1 and 2, so now we finish with 4 red. So we're going to find the little gap here. There it is. Push your hook through, and we've got red till the end now. So grab your first red band, pull it through as a slip stitch without a knot. We chain 3. Let me get a few more red bands ready. I'm going to chain 3 in red because we're in the center. 1, 2, 3, and then go back through the space. And we do 3 double crochets. This is our first one. This is our second one. And this is our third one. Now the bigger your mural or picture or pattern, the less pixelated it will look. Okay, the more definition. So now we're joining it to our next one. So let's find the space. Here's our space. Poke through. Slip stitch. Don't knot it. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Back through the space. Now braceletbook.com will have hundreds of different graphs that you could work with. Also, as I mentioned before, if you Google C, the letter C, 2, the number 2, and C again, C2C Crochet, that will give you a bunch of examples as well, a bunch of patterns that you could work with. So we've got, how many have we got here? That's 1, 2, I think we need to do one more. Get that untwisted. 1, 2, and one more. Too busy talking to you. There we go. So that's that square. We'll join that to this one, so let's find the gap. There it is. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3, then back through that space for the first of 3 double crochets. And here's number 3. And then our last one here, find your little gap, there it is right there, slip stitch with no knot, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, find your space again. We're doing the first of 3 double crochets. One, second double crochet, and our third double crochet. Okay, so if we have a look then, okay, now pinch and turn. I'm just going to turn it for this section. So this is what we have so far. Okay, so we're working down like this. Okay, so let's cross off what we've done. We have, let me move it down a bit so you can see. We've done the 2 white, and then we did the 4. Oh no, I'm sorry, we're here. 4 red. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm ahead of myself. We're going to continue. This is our center bit here with these 2 corners. This is our widest part, because then we're starting to decrease. So we're doing 2 in white, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 in red, and then 1 in white. So we were finished here, so we're going to pinch and turn. Okay, now we finished here. Okay, we finished at this spot, so we start here. All right, so we're going to do white. Oops, I'm drawing all over myself. So we chain 6 in white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go back 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Push your hook through, and we do our first double crochet. Then in the next stitch, you do your second. And then in your first stitch, you do your third. And again, we have to join this to this. This was the outside line here, so we have to join this to this. So now we're doing red, 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 and red. So 4 reds. This will be our first one. Find the little gap. Slip stitch without the knot. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we do the first of 3 double crochets. This is number 1. Back through that space. This is number 2. And our third one. Like so. Then we have to attach this to here. Again, go through your space. This will be our second red little box that we've made. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Find your space and do your double crochets. This is your first one. Second, and third. So let's go into our next one. Push through the space, slip stitch, don't knot it, chain 3. 1, 2, 3, back into that space for your first of the 3 single crochets. Oh, I'm sorry, first of the 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and this is number 3. So find your space, push your hook through, slip stitch, don't do the knot, chain 3, 1, 2, 3 and do your 3 double crochets. I hate when I do that. That's your first one. Second, and back through for your third. Now we're going to join it to this one, but we're doing white, okay, because we've just done 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now I've got those 2 already crossed off, because if you remember I jumped the gun. So we're doing 1 and 2 in white, okay. So slip stitch, chain 3, and then we're going to go in through that space again, 1, and do our 3 double crochets, back again, that's our first one in white, and then join it up here to our last one in white. Slip stitch, no knot, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we'll do our 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is how we're looking so far, okay, and if you have a look here, it's pretty much accurate. You got 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Now something I've noticed, this and this are not equal. I don't think it's going to matter too much. We should have made it square, but we did not. In order to make it square, I'm going to chop this top one off. Like that. And that will make it square. It's probably not going to look as pretty as if we had it, but it doesn't matter. So, we finished on the white here. So we're going to do 2 white and 1, 2, 3, 4 red. Okay? But if you notice now, we are on the decrease, so we have to do things a little bit differently. So while we're still going to pinch and turn, okay, what we've got to do is if we increase by 6, if we chain 6 now, it's going to get bigger. And that's what you would do if you were making something bigger. You just keep increasing until you're ready to make it smaller. But we want to make it smaller now, so we're going to do our decreases. Now to do that, you're going to leave these 2 on here. Go through the first pair that's here, right here beside it. Go through like this, okay? And with a single white, you're going to pull through and then pull it through the 2 loops on your hook and rejoin. And then go through the next one. And these are slip stitches, again, that we're not knotting. go through, pull through the 2 on your hook and rejoin, and a third time pull through the 2 stitches on your hook and reclaim. So you've basically done slip stitches back to the point where you would be working on the inside. Now we're going to work on the inside. So we haven't done with decreasing, we do not do the chain of 6. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3, and then find the gap, which is right here, go through and do our first of 3 double crochets. That's number 1. Number 2. Come back here. Where's that bang go? I have no idea. Into the nether. 3. Okay, now we have to join this to this one here in front of it, and again we know we're doing another white. Okay, so we've got 2 whites, so this is our second white. Find the gap, push your hook through, go through, join together, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Find that gap again, and we'll do the first of 3 double crochets. This is number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Are we on 3? 1, 2, 3. I think we did 3. 1, 2, 3. We did. So now we're doing 4. Let me cross these off. We've done these 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 to do in red. So again, find your gap, poke your hook through, pull your slip stitch through, but do not knot it. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we do our double crochets. And as I mentioned before, if you want it to be a firmer result, instead of using 1 band at a time, use 2 and double band it. Izzy likes both. My husband just likes the double banded one. I don't mind either. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we go in for the double crochets. First double crochet, second double crochet, third double crochet, join it into the next one with a slip stitch with no knot, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and back in we go. This is our first. Second. And that was our third, and then we go into this one. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, one, 2, 3. So now we have to join this here. Now we're not going to be continuing working this way, so we join in through where the gap is, okay, and our next one, if you have a look at our little map here, our little pattern, let's move this down. So we've just done 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next one is going to be red, 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 red. So we've got 4 reds to do, but we have to twist and turn, if you remember. So we're going to attach it to here with a red band, pull it through, pinch and turn, okay. And then if you remember, we've got to start back here, so we have to chain our way till we can get back to here. So through this first stitch, we're in this one here, so we're going to in this one here, and again you're going to take your band and pull it through those 2 loops, and then go into the next one, pull your band through and drag it through those 2 loops. And here's our third one, put your band in and drag it through the 2 loops. So you've moved it across this area here, and we're now going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and now we go into that space which is here. If you pull it apart, this is the space. This is not the space, this is actually our stitch. This is our space here, and we do the first of our double crochets. That's 1. 2, and 3. So see how this is forming your other corner up the top here. If you have a look, this is your corner here, that's the white. Okay, so we've formed this half of our little heart. So now that was our first one of 4. Find your space, go through your space, do your slip stitch to attach it, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, back into the space, and this is where we do our double crochets. And it's quite a band heavy way of doing things, because if you consider that 1 pixel is one square, and one square takes up quite a lot of bands. It's not one band per pixel. I'm going in this space here. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm working in the space again for my double crochets. So you're working in the space and not the stitch. Join it to the next one, pull through in a slip stitch without knotting it, chain 3, three double crochets into the space, 1, 2, 3. So we've done 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let's check those off. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we have 1 in white to do. Okay, so let's find our space. Here it is. Poke your hook through, pull back, draw through, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we do our double crochets. That's our first one. Second. And you can count them if you look here. You've got 1, 2, 3. So now we join them onto here. This is our space. You can see it right here. So I'm going to cross off. We just did our white one. So now our next one has to be this one here as white. Okay. So we're going to take a white band, pull it through, pinch and turn, and we chain. Oh no, we don't chain 3. I'm sorry. We have to work our way back here so that we can chain 3. So skip the one that you're in because you don't want to double work in that same one. So here's our first one. Pull it through, add the 2 loops into the next one. Pull it through, add the 2 loops, and here's our third one. Pull it through, add the 2 loops, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This is our space. We've worked in a chain. The space is here. You see the chains 1, 2, 3. So this is the space here. So put your hook in there. And now we do our double crochets. This is our first one. Back through that space. Our second, and back through the space for our third. Now you can write, you can do names, you can do massive pictures, you can do itty bitty pictures like we're doing here. It really doesn't matter. Now this needs to be joined to here. We're looking like it's up here, but it's not. It's actually here, which makes this the outside, if you see. So find the space, push your hook through. What colour are we doing? We're doing 2 in red, 1 and 2, and then a white one. Okay, so we're using a red to tie them in together in a slip stitch that we don't knot, and then we need 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3 into the space. This is our first double crochet. One. Here's our second. Two. Here's our third. Oops, I went through a stitch there, not the space. There we are. So that's 3. Find the next one that you're going to put it in. There's your space right there. Push your hook through. Slip stitch with no knot. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and do your double crochets in the space. Yikes. 1, 2, 3. So that was number 1. Two. 3. Now this one is going, and it looks like, oh, I'm 1 short, but you're not, because this one grows into that one. We're doing white for this because we've done 2 in red, so now we have our last one in white. So use your white to pull through and join them together in slip stitch without a knot. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. In the space, do your 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now remember, it attaches to the space here. We're going to use white. Okay, let's see, actually we're here, we've just done a white. Our next one is going to be 3 red. That's all we're doing. So actually I will use white to attach it. I'm going to pull it through and use my white. I'm going to pinch and turn, because I have to go back with white until I can do my next red. So I'm going to go in here with white and pull through. We're doing the decreases in here with white. Yep. And pull through. And our third one, pull through. So now I'm going to chain 3 with red. 1, 2, 3. Because when I come in here, my next stitch has to be red, because I'm doing 3 red. So pull through to do our double crochets. That's our first one. Second. And that should be our third. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay, now this needs to join to here. We're doing 3 in red. That was the first one. So here we go with our slip stitch that doesn't get knotted. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3 into the space. That's number 1. Two. Three. So that was the first one. The second one, we've got one more to do. In through the space, slip stitch without a knot, chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochets in the space. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. You're going to join it to the space here. Okay. Again, if we look at our pattern, just done these 3. Our next one is going to be red and red. So let's use a red band, pull through, pinch and turn, chain 3. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't chain 3. I keep saying that. I'm wrong. We have to chain 3 along. So it's a slip stitch. So first one, add the 2 loops. The next one, add the 2 loops, and the third one, add the 2 loops. Because we're decreasing, we have to bring it in. So now we chain 3. We're at the right position where we can. 1, 2, 3. We're going in through the space. 3 double crochets. This is our first. This is our second. Whoopsie. This is our third, and then we join it to this one here, and we're still doing red because we have to do 2 squares in red. Slip stitch, no knot, chain 3. 1, 2, 3, in through the space, double crochets. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Now, here's the space that we have to go into. We're going in with red to join it. Okay, pinch and close pinch and turn I should say. Again, we have to travel down here in red, but our last square is going to be in white. So go through your first stitch with red, because you want it to all blend in, and then the next stitch in red, and the third stitch in red. And now we're going to use white bands and do 3, chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, in through the space for our double crochets. There's our first. Here's our second. And our last one. Our third. You're going to lock it into place here through the space. You can take a white band, pull it through and attach, and you will tie it into a slip knot like that. And this is our heart. Now, as you can imagine, if you had done it double banded, it would be a lot tighter, thicker. It wouldn't be as floppy. Okay? This is quite floppy, but I still think that you can see the shape of what we've made quite nicely. Do I think it would look possibly nicer in double banded? Yes, I do. But when you imagine you're doing something massive, you really might not want to waste the bands with it. And when you actually have it on the wall or framed or on a bed or whatever you make with it, whatever you decide to make with it, I don't think it's really going to matter, because once you stand back from it a little bit, you can clearly make out the shape. But there we have our little heart. Just remember, each of these little squares is a pixel, and this you would just tuck your little tie-off band here. You'd just tuck it in. I probably would go through the white, seeing as you tied off with a white. Tuck it in behind some of these white bands here and hide it. Never to be seen again, you hope. Oh, I've been so silly with my fingernails. I can't believe lifting furniture. I broke 4 of them. I was in agony. I'm still in agony. When it goes lower than the quick, oh my goodness, that hurts. So there we go. Hide that in there. And there is our little heart. Hope you have some fun. Please show me what you make with these. I'd be really interested to see. Take care. Bye.